Hello, I'm Tommy.
I'm Jimmy, and we are here with the wonderful Gelsey Bell.
Hello.
Hey, Gelsey. Who do you play in this wonderful show?
I play Princess Mary, the opera singer, the maidservant, and then I play like 3 other unnamed roles in the ensemble.
I love
members.
it. There you go. And all very varied, interesting roles, aren't they?
Yeah. It's a real rainbow.
So let's kind of get in on Mary and work out. I mean, bless her. You know, like
She cares so much.
She does.
Yeah.
She really wants to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Because I think, listening to it, I think a lot of people could kind of fob the Bolkonskis off, like, oh, they're the comic relief, that's fine, that's what that track is. But if you really home in, after the where are my glasses moment, and then you have that beautiful, almost realization?
Yeah.
Would you?
Yeah, totally. No, it feels like a realization, every performance.
Yeah. And so what is going through Mary's head at that point?
I mean, I think it's really as simple as, like, taking responsibility for her situation where her father's in a vulnerable state and she has to, like, take care of him and love him throughout that.
Yeah.
And it's so, I mean, it's hard because he's the patriarch. He's the one who's supposedly in control and needs to be in control. It feels like he's just totally abusive.
Yeah.
But it's not really that simple.
Right.
I mean, and you can, when you read the book, you see how he kind of gets worse and worse throughout the course of the book.
Right.
And of course, like, they didn't have any, like, diagnoses for diseases that happen in people's elder years. So he probably has some sort of dementia or something. So I feel like it's a realization of, like, I love this person and I'm the person who can take care of them.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, like, stuck in the middle. That line, you started in duet, I could hurt you, but I never, ever will.
Yeah.
Like, it cuts to the core. Because you're stuck in the middle there. Like, I want to help you, but you don't know that I'm here to help you. And trying to balance all that.
Well, and to me, it also feels like one of the hard situations about being a woman of that era, where there's just not a sense of being in control of your own destiny.
Yeah.
And yet, like, I think we see that with Natasha's character much more through in this show.
Yeah.
But in the book itself, you see that with many of the characters.
Yes. And I think in one of the rewrites of Bolkonski's number, and the time moves on, I think that really, again, quite chilling.
Yeah.
Because it's Mary just being like, I am stuck.
Yeah.
And that, like you say, is for a woman at that time, that must be, we kind of can't comprehend it.
Yeah.
Totally. No, I mean, I can't comprehend it either.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That how, like, here's your box, and this is where
and
you
that's
will
it
be.
for the rest of your life.
Accept
Those
that.
22
Totally.
hours every day.
I mean, yeah, until he dies. I mean, that's part of, like, the intense thing too. Is like, I can't wait till my father dies, but I don't want him to die.
Right.
But I mean, that's like just that's an existential crisis if there ever was one.
Yeah, I know. One of the things that you don't get if you're on the cast album, if you're listening to the cast album, is your relationship with Andre, your brother. When he comes back. So tell us a bit about, if you're listening to the cast album, what's happening once he's back with the two of you.
Totally. I mean, so during the track Pierre and Andre, I'm there in the light with them. I'm not, it's not like I'm in the scene with them, but I'm witnessing. I mean, I think that's what I'm doing a lot of the last part of the show, is I'm witnessing everything that is happening.
Right.
And so are other ensemble members. I mean, there's a lot of back and forth with everyone watching this story happen. But in that scene in particular, for Princess Mary watching, I'm having a moment where I see my brother come home from war, and that's, like, the fact that he's still alive is so amazing, and I'm so happy. And then seeing him become heartbroken.
Yeah, exactly.
And, so for me, I'm very present watching that. Mary's story continues with whatever happens to her brother.
Yeah. If you're listening to the cast album, I mean, you will notice the opera. You'll hear that.
Exists to be noticed.
Right? And those are your pipes.
Oh yeah, totally.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, for the I've kind of built a career off of singing many different kinds of vocal styles.
Right.
And I like working with living composers.
Amazing.
So a lot of the composers I work with are in the classical music or experimental world. Dave happens to be in the musical theater world.
Yeah.
And so I feel like, I'm just kind of continuing doing that. I'm also just very interested in the voice, so I've studied a lot of different kinds of techniques, extended vocal techniques, which I use a little bit in the opera within.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just a very curious nerd, and I like to sing, so this is what has happened.
Yeah. No, I mean, we're all nerds here. Like,
This is
that's what we love.
Right?
I mean, how does it feel? Because the existence of the opera within the show, we're kind of poking fun at it to an extent.
Oh yeah, totally.
But you're in the middle of that. How does that...
Well, I mean, it's interesting. So Paul and I, Paul's the other opera singer, we have 2 bands together. So we make a lot of the kinds of music that we're making fun of to a certain extent. I mean, we're hamming it up, let's be real.
Yeah.
But it's like I use those kind of vocal techniques in very serious contexts. And we are used to making that kind of music together.
Yeah.
So it feels like and Dave Dave and I have known each other for 8 or 9 years, and he has come to many of those concerts. So like he went into it knowing that that's in the wheelhouse.
Right, because I was wondering, like, what came first, Dimlo or the voice? So it's the voice, and he homed in on that.
Totally, and we really developed that scene together. It was like,
Amazing.
why don't I try this?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that works. How about we try this?
Of course. It's, I mean, one of the things I love, and it happens in so many points in the show, but this is totally new. Like, when do you get something like that in any musical?
Yeah. Any
right?
musical.
Yeah.
And that is so exciting.
Or even close to it. We're so outside of,
Yeah, because I mean, one of the first tracks I listened to out of order was the opera, and I was just like, I'm sorry, what?
You're gonna have to listen to that again.
Yeah, we're gonna go back to that. It's amazing. So, does that feel good to know, hey, I'm repping for the experimentalists out there?
No, it feels really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it, like, the friends of mine from that world that come to the show are always very happy that that's there.
Okay.
And like, the other vocalists that do extended vocal technique are like, extended vocal technique on Broadway. Like, you're not doing a crazy amount, but it's just amazing that it's there.
Exactly.
And
it's the beginning, right?
Well, and it fits. It's not like, here is the shtick of the show that we're incorporating this weird out of the ordinary thing. It's like, no, it belongs exactly there, and it wouldn't be the same show without it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Absolutely.
Good.
It's so great.